are you? I thought I'd go live and say hi. I've just come back from gardening. It's been absolutely mad this time of year. It feels a little bit sad, doesn't it? Because I've just started to put things back into the seed collection sort of long-term storage, which honestly, up until now, it just wasn't the case. And you got more and more out and you could sow whatever you want, but now it's got to the point where, you know, I'm just completely putting things back and it's so sad. Yeah, it's just something that I'm not quite used to at the moment, and it's always a little bit sad because where we are as gardeners, instead of having a hi Gary, instead of having the living in the moment, you're sort of living in the next season. And the next season for us, the next season for us is like, fall and winter, so things are starting to not grow as well as they did before, which is a little bit sad. But I'm super excited about the garden. I've just trimmed all of my tomatoes, which is just epic that they're completely done. What is it in the garden that you guys are doing? If you want to share, drop down below. I can see your comments. I've got so much left to do. I feel like there's never enough time this time of year. There's so much left for me to do. I've got to plant out a load of brassicas. I've sown a load of brassicas, as you can see. I've literally just come in from doing that. I was going to do the live down there, but my phone started to die. You know how it is. And I've got to decide really what to put in after my potatoes. I haven't decided that yet. I've got quite a large space and I have got nothing in mind. Gary says courgettes, cucumbers, tomatoes for us. Though the courgettes are not doing well this year. What's the matter with your courgettes? Maybe I can help you. Courgettes, though, full disclosure, awful at growing because I tend to kill them through silly things like knocking things over. Just a little sad. Just a little specimen, sorry. Have you tried, you probably have, but have you tried putting any fertilizer on them, particularly liquid fertilizer? Something that's nitrogen rich will really boost the amount of leaves they have. And then obviously the more leaves they have, the more energy they have. Oh, finger sized. I'd give them a little while. Mine are still quite small. They're like the little mini ones you get in the supermarket, but if you leave them just a few days, you'll get like cricket bat size ones. Yeah, tomato fertilizer is a great option once they've started producing. So it's like one of those things, like before they start producing, you want lots of leaves, yeah? So you're kind of pushing and trying to get them to grow big bushy plants. But as soon as they start to produce flowers, or if they're not producing flowers, then you can go on to the tomato fertilizer. Tomato fertilizer is good for anything that's fruiting. Tomatoes, peppers, your courgettes and stuff. But I have seen that if you overdo the fertilizer on courgettes, you get tons of females but no males, and that's how you get blossom end rot. So it is something you kind of have to walk that fine line for. So yeah, it is a good option, but don't overdo it. I'd recommend whatever it says on the bottle, half it and see how you go from there. Good. Let me know if it works or not, and probably you will. You'll go, that didn't work, Nick, what do I do now? But yeah, that should be absolutely fun. Are you growing them in a pot, or are you growing them in the ground? My ones in the ground are still quite small because I've lost all my plants. I had to start them again in March, but give them a couple of weeks and they'll be absolutely pumping out the courgettes. Large containers, yeah, direct sun, epic. They love direct sun. Just keep them nice and watered as well, because it's so hot and dry. With containers can be absolutely a full-time job just keeping them wet enough. But if you have consistent issues with courgettes, patty pans, man, I find patty pans way easier to grow than courgettes. Don't know why, because courgettes have that reputation of being mental, but patty pans, man, they're so easy to grow. And I don't use any liquid fertilizer whatsoever on them. They just pump out. But I do top dress with horse manure every year, so I do think that helps quite well. This year also I've noticed, talking about problems in the garden, I've noticed a lot of green fly. I don't know if you guys have noticed a lot of green fly, absolutely heaps of them on my tomato plants. Never had green fly whatsoever on tomatoes, ridiculous. So I've actually done nothing because I didn't cut back my buddleia last year. And I don't know if this is a, oh, hello from Korea, hello. Hello, Sky. So I didn't cut back my buddleia last year, and I'm never cutting it back again. And it's because I have never seen so many ladybirds in my garden whatsoever. It's been absolutely mental. They're everywhere, like you can't even walk on the ground. It is ridiculous. It could be. So there has been a ban on like sprays and stuff, but I don't know, because where my allotment is, so my allotment's here, right, square, and on this side there's pharmacy field, in front of them is farmer's field, behind them is farmer's field. It's literally, there's nothing around. That's why the wind's so bad. And obviously when they spray, when they spray, you can taste it in the air. Obviously they don't come over and tell me what they're spraying, but I don't know, I just think it's absolutely epic. There's so many, and it could be because of the pesticide ban. I'm not sure. Weirdly, I've noticed more bugs on our car windscreen. Oh, it's brutal, poor bugs. But yeah, I haven't noticed that, but I don't drive very far. I only drive a mile up the road. But I have noticed my partner, bugs terrible here. But yeah, I have noticed that, and that's, I don't know, hopefully will be a continuation. I'm thinking maybe it's something to do with that buddleia, so I might experiment on not cutting it back. At the end of the day, I'm not growing the buddleia for anything else, just for it to look nice. But yeah, but everything else is doing super good. I've just harvested a load of potatoes, and I've harvested a ton of garlic, probably the best garlic year I've ever had, which is really good. And I've literally done nothing sort of different with the garlic. I was thinking this when I was harvesting it, and I think the only thing I've done is given it 2 handfuls of blood, fish and bone, and my garlic bulbs, should have brought one in really, they're about that big now. I've never had such big garlic bulbs in my life. Now I normally get like smallish ones because we get terrible rust, and they were covered in rust, don't get me wrong. If you don't want rust, you've got to do them undercover, but how much room do you have undercover? I'd rather spend my undercover area on things like peppers. So I didn't grow them undercover, and I've grown the best ones this year. And I do think maybe it is that little bit of fertilizer that I gave them on top of the horse manure. So I'll have to remember that for next year and see if it makes a real big difference, because it might not, it might do, not too sure, but we'll have to see. There's been a few things also that has not gone amazingly, and that's probably my licorice plant. I had 2 licorice and both have completely, utterly gone. Don't know, it's such a shame, but I've replaced them now with mint, licorice mint, which tastes just like licorice, but it's so much easier to grow. It's less fussy, I guess, but that's been absolutely aces. It's absolutely spread, and I've put the container in the ground because I'm not going to make that mistake again where you put it into the ground, it spreads absolutely everywhere, man. So that's not ideal, but yeah, apart from that, it's been great. Have you got any questions for me, any problems that I can fix for you in the garden? Let me know. If not, I'll just think of some common ones, I guess. Let's think tomatoes, common tomatoes. So this year I'm trailing my tomatoes on an A-frame, which I think is a super good idea, and I find that that's got more circulation for the plants, and they look so green this year. I don't know, I was just looking through, because when you do YouTube you spend a lot of time looking through old footage, and last year they looked a lot worse at this point. So I'm hoping that is also a really good thing I've done. I've been watering them with a combination of stinging nettles and bindweed fertilizer that I made myself. Stinks. Absolutely foul, revolting stuff. I think it's helping with the rabbit problem as well, because who'd want to be near it? And that's, I think, why they're green. Now they've started fruiting, I'm going to hold back on them, but we've got something around about 125 tomato plants this year. So yeah, absolutely mental, but they are going really, really well. We've actually started to do keeper tomatoes, which are tomatoes that, hello Lisa, tomatoes that you keep for the whole of the winter, which I've never grown before, but I'm super excited about that. We're doing anything that in the garden that you're having issues with, I'm happy to give you, there's a fly, I don't know, I'm happy to give you advice for. I'm just kind of talking about the tomatoes that I've got. I'm growing 125 tomato plants, and 5 of them are keeper tomatoes, which are the most exciting tomatoes that I'm growing at the moment. I'm tomato mad, and I'm not doing anything massive with them. I just put they're in duck fertilizer actually from when I had my ducks. I've used their bedding on them and they're growing really well. I've just trimmed them all up and grown them up a metal mesh, and that seems to be good. I think it's a good year this year for tomatoes because how dry it's been, but also because it's so dry. Are you guys getting really big issues with dryness? I'm having the issue that no matter how much I water my garden, it's just not going down. So you water, and because the ground is becoming something called hydrophobic, that's where you can water it and the water will just run off. I'm finding it really difficult for the water to get in, so I'm saturating it, putting the sprinklers on for a good 5 minutes, taking them away and then putting them on so that the water is able to sort of penetrate a little bit deeper into the ground. I know that lots of people say that if you take a little bit of washing up liquid and you put it into your watering can and you water it, it does allow it to penetrate, but how much dish soap do you want in your soil? Hello Matt. Hey, I just popped in to say well done for going live. Thanks Matt. Having the school run. I'll watch your tomato video later, thank you. Just bought some tomato plants for my boys. For your boy even. Well, I hope you have a great time, and if you need any tomato help, let us know, Matt. I'm thinking I'm gonna go in a moment now because I think Andrew's waking up. So thank you so much. I was super nervous about my first vertical live, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.